Well, we're ready to start your first clay project, and I want to teach you how to wedge your clay. So that's what we're going to do whenever you're using clay. So you grab clay, the first thing you're going to want to do is wedge. And I'll show you how to do that in a second, but it's really, really important to wedge your clay properly because it gets the air bubbles out of your clay. Although we can't see it, there are air bubbles sometimes in your clay, right? So again, I don't know, I can't see those, but they could be in there. And what happens is if we leave those air bubbles in there and we make our project and we spend weeks and weeks constructing, and then it goes in the kiln, and we heat up your artwork to change it from clay to ceramic, right? Make it hard. Sometimes those air bubbles will explode, and that's really unfortunate. It happens more than I'd like, but it's really sad when your work comes out, you've spent so much time on it and it blows up on you. So this is a really, really important step. It gets overlooked a lot of times, so we got to take time to do this properly. It's gonna feel weird to start, but be patient. It is worth it. Okay, so how I want to start my wedging, first of all, I'm gonna recommend that you stand up. I'm gonna move my camera here so we can see a little bit better. Okay, so here's my clay. I'm gonna get to wedging, okay? So I'm gonna stand up, and I do that so that I have a little bit more ability to press down. If I'm sitting, I don't have as much strength in my arms, okay? So I'm gonna start the clay on its toe here. And what I wanna do is just, with using this part of my hand, I'm gonna roll the clay away from me. Okay, and what we should start to see is this curve of the clay, right? We have this nice gentle curve. Okay, so I rolled it away from me. Now I'm gonna tip it back up on its toe and roll away again. Okay, and I folded it on itself. Bring it back, roll away. Bring it back, roll away. Okay, and I'm just gonna repeat that process. You'll notice that there's no clay sticking to the table. If you see that it's sticking to the table, that means you're pressing too hard, right? It could also mean your clay is really, really soft and wet, but it's probably because you're pressing too hard. I'm kind of pushing down and away from myself. Now, what I'd like to see when I wedge, you see this spiral start to happen? That's really what we want to see, is a spiral, okay? So when it gets to this stage and it's gotten to be pretty wide, okay, and I can't really stay on the sides of it anymore, I'm gonna turn it, tip it up, and repeat. Okay, and I have a nice spiral happening here. Okay, now one mistake that I see a lot is we're gonna roll away, and a lot of times students will tip it back too much, and then when they push down, it falls. Okay, so that's what we want to avoid, right? We want to roll it away, tip it on its toe, and this part should just kind of smooth right back into the clay. Okay, we don't want to go too far because then we can't roll it. Okay, so about here. Now, I always get asked, how much do I have to wedge, right? For how long? How many times? Well, it is kind of challenging, right? We can't see inside the clay. There we are. We can't see inside the clay. You know, if there's an air bubble, it's kind of hard to tell. There's one test we can do. Let me grab this. So sometimes what I'll do with people who are just starting to learn is we can cut our clay in a few different sections and just see how we're doing, right? All right, so I can see there's no air bubbles there. That's good news. All right, let's try again. Okay, no air bubbles. Also good. Okay, so we're solid, right? That was a good piece of wedged clay. Now, what I've just done is I've cut this apart a bunch. That means I have to wedge some more. Okay, so this is just a good test for your first piece, just to try if you're getting it right, and you know you're on the right track then, okay? I'd want to re-wedge this clay up, and then I'll be ready to go.